Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and at the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Yes, we are back after a month, and I am the bearer of the Ravenloft plague for you all as well. You are welcome, by the way.
I hope that it's not contagious over the internet.
I guess we'll find out as soon as this episode posts. Are people in the chat room? I hope you have some Lysol with you. Just saying. Not sure how powerful this is. I guess we'll find out.
We will have to find out then. Let's head into our game news, and happy 11th anniversary for DDO.
That's right, 11 years. How awesome is that? And you know, there is not a lot of MMOs that can say they have made it 11 years. So congratulations to, I guess, Standing Stone Games now for a great game and 11 awesome, fun years. And yes, Gump Gang in the chat is saying that I'm sick because I had too much sunlight. You might be correct, sir. I was out in the sun a few days ago, and I'm like, what is this bright thing in the sky that is like hurting my skin? So see, Gumskangs knows what's up. But yes, back to the 11th anniversary. Happy anniversary, DDO. And I hope it is now shut down, but you could go back into the anniversary dungeon and run that. It ended today, though. So if you're listening to this, you missed it. Sorry.
You mean I missed the anniversary dungeon this year?
You missed it. I thought it was going to run longer, but nope. It only ran like a week, I think it was open. But to make up for that, they're giving us gifts. We have gifts, Pineleaf. But they're doing it different this year. If you remember last year, you got something in your inventory and then you went to a trader and you traded it in. This year, you're getting your gifts through the store, kind of.
Through the store, kind of.
Kind of. Because you have to go to the store and you're going to enter a coupon code. And that coupon code is going to be HAPPY11. HAPPY11. That is the number. And then TH. And the case doesn't matter, so you can do that in uppercase or lowercase. And then you will find in your inventory, once you enter that code, you will get 2 pieces of 11-year-old cake. And once you click on that cake, it's going to open up a window, and you are going to be able to choose from a few items. And these items are basically old quest rewards, and there is a few raid items in there as well. And also, if you don't like any of the items that are listed, you can get 10 commendations of heroism, and those are bound to character on acquire. So keep that in mind. Or you can get 100,000 XP. And keep in mind, on the 100,000 XP, if you choose that, it's going to automatically apply. So you can't decide, I'm going to hold on to that and use it at a certain level or whatever. If you choose that reward, you're going to get 100,000 XP right at that time. So keep that in mind. But some of the other rewards you can choose, there's some decent stuff in here, and there's some other stuff that I'm just thinking, what the heck are they thinking? The Blade of Inquisition, the Falarian Mirror Cloak, the Noxious Fang, Mask of Comedy, Spinal Tap, and the Bow of Snoo, and the Dream Splitter, and the Shard of Zoriat. Just a few of the examples you can get. In the show notes, I will link over to the wiki article where it lists everything you can pick from. But overall, you know, I'm a little disappointed in this. This is the first anniversary for Standing Stone Games. I kind of hoped we would have got something a little better than this, because some of these rewards I'm just like, Because some of this stuff you could technically farm for, because most of these quests that stuff comes out of are not that hard. Yeah, the drop rates are, you know, and everybody knows me and the RNG. But still, some of this stuff is just like, So, I don't know. But, you know, free is free, I guess.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, this you do get 2 of the birthday cakes, so you can choose 2 awards. So just choose your rewards wisely. You can do 2 on the same character, or you can, you know, do 1 on one character and 1 on the other, however you want to do it. But just keep that in mind. Most of them are tradable between characters, but the 2 that I mentioned are bound to characters, so keep that in mind as well.
All right. Anything else to note about the 11th anniversary?
No, just it's pretty awesome that we've made it 11 years. I mean, that's cool in itself. So just happy anniversary, DDO, and here's to 11 more.
11 more years of doing this show?
Maybe. Wow,
Well,
that God, what episode number would we be up to if we did 11 more years of the show?
ooh, around episode. Well, let's say about episode 500.
So we would be almost caught up with No, because DDO Cast would probably be way higher. Wow, we're never going to catch up with DDO Cast. Patrick, take a break so we can catch up to you. Just saying. We love you, but man, you have a lot of episodes.
Let's then head into Update 34, Patch 3 release notes. Anything interesting in this release?
Actually, yes, there is. But not so much what they did. It's just what they said, at least to me, in the release notes for it. And I'm going to read these all because there is not a lot. But the first one is, we have corrected several effect stacking issues that were having a detrimental impact on game performance. These issues were happening due to excessive stacking of several benefits applied through scripting, including Update 32 set bonuses, Reaper bonuses, and mythic item properties. So in other words, there was effect stacking together that was giving people some bonuses they weren't supposed to get, and it was causing some server lag. So they fixed that. The also other thing they fixed is they corrected several issues that were allowing players to exploit the quest Precious Cargo. But now let me repeat what I just said. Corrected several issues that were allowing players to exploit the quest Precious Cargo. What word did I say that they have never, ever mentioned in a release note before?
Well, usually exploit is one you don't usually hear.
That's right. They use the exploit word. They have never actually talked about an exploit. They've kind of hinted at they did something to fix something that wasn't working as intended, i.e. there was an exploit that they fixed. But this time they actually said it. I found that very interesting to say. And also to go along with that, Precious Cargo is no longer available in Reaper difficulty. And they also corrected a reincarnation exploit. So that is 2 times in this little hotfix that they talked about an exploit, which I find very interesting. And that just got me thinking, is it a shift in company policy due to their Standing Stone Games now, and they're not Turbine/Warner Brothers? Are they just trying to be a little more open? Or, it's just, I just found it interesting. They actually used the E word in release notes. Maybe it's just me, but I just thought, wow, that's pretty interesting.
I'm trying to remember if they ever used what the wording is back when they had to fix the exploit way back when in Lotro concerning Trouble in Tuckborough, if they used the E word then, or if they probably used some sort of
not that I can remember
for it.
Yeah, they've always kind of just skirted around it, and it's like, oh, there was some unintended gameplay happening, or there was some unintended things happening in the quest, or something like that. They just always kind of like, of course, everybody knew what the heck they were talking about. Right. Like, God forbid we say the exploit word, and now they are. So it'll be interesting, I guess, to like watch some release notes and stuff over on Lotro and see if they ever actually do it on Lotro as well. I just found it very, very fascinating that they actually use the word.
Yeah, issue 227 of the DDO Chronicle, where DDO Cast is also celebrating an anniversary, a 10th year anniversary.
That is awesome. That podcast has been around for 10 years.
Wow.
Amazing.
No wonder they're ahead of us.
Yeah. And they're at, I want to say, like 431 on their episodes, maybe, something like that.
And it looks like Van Hooger and friends posted a video showing them completing Reaper mode at the highest difficulty.
Why am I not shocked people are running Reaper on 10 and beating it? I am not shocked at that turn of events. I am not shocked at all.
How many past lives do they have?
God bless them all for doing it, because I've watched some of their videos, and heck no would I even attempt a Reaper. I might do it on like one skull, maybe two, but like screw doing it on 10. There ain't no way I'm doing anything on 10.
I have no trouble with hard.
Well, that's true. We should actually do a quest and do Reaper on 1 and just see how long that you last. I think that would be fun.
I'm not too sure I'll last into the door.
I guess we'll have to try that and find out. We'll like pick a really easy quest and play the how long can Pineleaf stay alive in Reaper game.
Right.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it looks like that Ginger Spice has a video concerning on how to pick your anniversary gift.
Ginger usually has some good advice and stuff like that. So check that video out and maybe it'll help your choices.
All right. And Drac gets a new pet. And they have a link to telling you just how he did it.
And I have not actually looked at that blog post, so I don't know what new pet he got. So I'm going to have to go read that blog and stalk him for once. See how the tables have turned.
Ooh. Then we also have our happy 11th anniversary stuff, of course, the patch notes and all that fun stuff, and a screenshot of the week where Bolin Law has no worries about his this trollish romance in our 307th screenshot of the week.
I don't think I would romance a troll, but maybe it's just me. You know, teach their own. Love is blind, as they say. But a troll, really?
All right. Now, here's my question for you.
Okay.
What modern convenience should House Canet's artificers work to bring to Stormreach?
Cell phone towers. We need cell service in Stormreach. I get no service at all.
Well, because that is our Chronicle comment for this week. And one extra side note, in addition to the DDO Chronicle, is that Lotro has finally gotten a newsletter, and they have had their first 2 issues already of the Lotro Beacon.
Yeah, I saw that and I looked at it, and it's pretty cool because I often wondered why Lotro did not do something similar to the Chronicle. It's a great way to get community stuff out, to like point out fan sites and stuff like that. So I'm glad to see that Cordovan is doing it over on the Lotro side as well. So good job for that.
Yay! Thank you, Cordovan. So let's head into our store sales. And what's on sale this week?
We have 30% off the Mirror of Glamour, the Raid Bypass Timers, select cosmetic outfits, and hats and helmets. And the free sample of the week through March 9th will be a light spell point potion. You will get 10 of those when you use the coupon code SPELL4, and that is the number, DAYS. Once again, spell 4 days, 1 per account. And do not forget, you can also use the coupon code HAPPY11th, and you can use that through April 2nd, and that will get you your 2 per account anniversary cakes to choose your free anniversary reward.
So let's then head to our site news, and Res Publica 2030 AD plus New Horizons expansion contest giveaway. How's this coming along?
We are giving this away because all you people were awesome, and everybody knows that I kind of had a family thing going on. I still do. It's a little better than what it was, so I'm to the point where I can, come back and start the site and everything again. And I just wanted to say thanks for everybody for sticking with us, because you guys were understanding that, we put the site and the podcast on hold, and everybody sent well wishes and everything, and that's awesome. I appreciate that. So I contacted our friends over at Mage Company, and I was like, hey, do you have a game that you could give us to give away, just to thank our listeners and site viewers for sticking with us? And they said, sure. So they offered us up their game Res Publica, as you said. It's the game Res Publica 2030 AD, and you also get the New Horizons expansion contest. Res Publica is a card game. I did put a little video link in the post so you can kind of see what's going on with it. And how to enter, you just go over to the site. There are 5 questions that you have to answer. And to find the answers, it's pretty simple. You just need to go over to Mage Company's website and kind of read about some of their games and find the answers. Really easy to find the answers if you just look on their site. And we're going to draw one winner of the people that got the questions right. And so far, we've only gotten one entry. And I'm not going to say if they got the questions right or wrong. So we may already have our winner if nobody else enters. That's all I'm going to say. So you still have time. You have until 10 a.m. on Friday, March the 10th. So today, as we are recording this podcast, it is March 6th of Monday, March 6th. So you have until Friday of this week. And this podcast will come out on Wednesday. So when this podcast comes out, you will still have time to enter. So click over and enter. There are a few caveats. There is only one entry per person, please. And all current and former staff of DDO players and our other Player Alliance podcaster sites are ineligible to win. And also, we are not going to give away your email information to anybody, but Mage Company will get your email, and they will use it to give you some updates on a new upcoming Kickstarter they have for their new 12 Realms Dungeon Crawler game. That Kickstarter is coming out soon, so they are going to add you to a mailing list. That is the only email you are going to receive. It'll be from Mage Company, or it's going to be from me saying you are the winner if you enter. We are not going to give your email to anybody else. So good luck to everybody. Everybody enter. And it's open to anybody, anywhere in the world, because Mage Company agreed to do the shipping on it, and they said they would ship to anybody.
Okay.
So there's no, usually we only say because it's like us shipping it, and shipping is expensive. So we usually only say, sorry, you got to be in the U.S. to win. This one's open to anybody. So I hope everybody goes over and enters. Just a little something fun that I wanted to do just to thank everybody for sticking with us. So as I said, as of this recording, we have one entry who may or may not have gotten the questions right. I'm not going to say because I don't want people just to copy those answers. If I say, hey, guess what? He got them all right. Well, then everybody would just copy that. So you don't know. Could be right. Could be wrong. I guess you'll find out on Friday when I draw the winner. So we'll see. So everybody go enter.
All right, then let's head in to see what's coming in from the dungeon, where Gatekeepers RPG interviews with designer Ilya Bosov.
And I think you actually pronounced the name a little better than I did. Yeah, I butchered his name, and I apologize to him for that. As I said in the interview, my Russian is a little lax. So, yes, this is an interesting new game coming out. It is a RPG, but it is played with cards, believe it or not.
Cards.
Cards. It's really interesting. It's a role-playing game of fantasy, intrigue, daring heist, and tactical strikes. Some secrets are best left undisturbed. You are the gatekeepers, and you are conspiring to keep them out of foolish hands. And players will build their character card by card in place of the traditional character sheets. So you actually don't have a character sheet either. You play the entire game with dice and cards. And another thing I found interesting is the game master and our dungeon master, whatever you want to call it, never rolls a dice, which I found very interesting. Only the player characters roll dice. So we talked to Ilya about this and this new game, and also Cordovan was on the call as well because Cordovan has been play testing this game.
Ooh!
So we had a fun little chat about that, and then towards the end of the interview, we actually did tie it into DDO because Ilya used to be a content designer for Dungeons & Dragons Online. He went by the handle Flimsy Firewood. And we found out something very interesting, and I told him I blame him for something that happens in the game that I hate all the time. And if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know what I'm talking about, and it's not the RNG.
Something other than the RNG.
Something other than the RNG that I hate. Absolutely detest. My hatred of this certain thing is well known. And we talk about that because he devised most of the ones that I hate the most. So if you want to find out what we're talking about, you're going to have to listen to the interview.
All right.
How's that for a teaser?
How's that for a teaser? Right.
Yeah, the Gatekeepers RPG is up on Kickstarter now. As we record, there is 18 days to go. They are at 5,545 of the $30,000 goal. So they have quite a ways to go to hit that goal, but got 18 days to do it. So check it out. It's an interesting take on the typical RPG.
Then let's head into New Dragon Plus issue 12, the inspiration issue.
Are you inspired by this, Pineleaf?
Inspired to do what?
Do you even remember what Dragon Plus is? It's been a long time since we talked about Dragon Plus, actually.
It is. Yeah, I had completely forgotten about it.
And to be 100% honest with you, and I'm sure Wizards does not want to hear this right now. So Wizards, if you're listening, tune out for about a minute and a half, and then you can come back and listen, because I'm going to tell you how awesome this issue is. But yeah, I kind of forgot about Dragon Plus too, until one night my iPad went off, and I opened it up because I thought, well, what was that message I just got? And it was like, Dragon Plus, new issue, the inspiration issue, available now to download. And I'm like, oh yeah, Dragon Plus is a thing, isn't it? Sorry, Wizards. Yeah. Dragon Plus is out. This was an interesting issue. It features anthropomorphic cats. So if you're into cats that look like humans, this is the issue for you. I'll be honest, I found it a little creepy, but maybe it's just... Mike Shea has a great article on Use This Book Tonight, and that's his advice column. There's some good advice there, but I think the shining star of this new issue of Dragon Plus would have to be, they gave a little teaser for what the Tomb of Horrors is going to be like in the new Tales from the Yawning Portal book that's coming out soon from Wizards. So you got a little tease on exactly what Tomb of Horrors is going to be like in 5e.
Ooh, okay. I can make one guess about what it's going to be like.
And your guess would be?
A death trap.
You would be correct with that. They don't give you a lot. It's just enough to where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to kill my party in this dungeon. I'd be more excited ever to get my long-awaited TPK.
You're still waiting for that.
I'm still waiting for that TPK. And if
I'm surprised.
I'm going on record right now. It is going to be recorded for all eternity right here on this episode. I'm going on record. If my stupid party survives the Tomb of Horrors, I give up. I at Dungeon Mastering if my freaking party survives Tomb of Horrors.
No one survives the Tomb of Horrors.
My party will find a way, I can guarantee you. If any party can, it'll be my idiot friends that'll figure out a way to keep themselves alive.
Well, it's amazing that, because most parties that manage to get through a lot of things do it through competence instead of through incompetence.
Yeah, exactly. My party would be incompetence and sheer stupidity, and that would be pretty much them. Really. I know what'll happen, and I know I'm going to get ticked off when they do it, but what are you going to do? But yes, Dragon Plus issue 12 now available. It should be available on your iOS devices, your Android devices, and also on the PC, and I've provided direct links to all of those in the article. So just head over to DDO Players, and you can check out the new issue of Dragon Plus.
Then let's have a look at the tabletop. Would you like a game based on the Indiana Jones movies?
That's pretty much what this game is.
Yeah.
Of course, not intending any copyright infringement whatsoever. But yeah, pretty much. It's Indiana Jones, pretty much, yeah. And the game we're talking about, of course, is This Belongs in a Museum, and that's coming from our friends over at Rather Dashing Games. And it is part of their Drawn and Quartered series. So if you're familiar with their other games, you will be able to pick this up pretty quickly because you're drawing tiles and you're laying tiles down. This belongs in a museum. Players are competing to be the most revered archaeologist in the world. You are going to traverse seas and mountains, use airports to connect dig sites to your base camp with the goal of creating the largest connected section of the board. You will collect valuable artifacts for extra victory points, and you will outwit your colleagues in this easy-to-learn but yet strategic tile-laying game. But you need to watch out, because, yes, there is a mummy, and the mummy will curse you. The mummy travels around the board as well. So watch out for the mummy.
What, a mummy in a treasure hunting in the desert game?
I know, shocking, right?
Yeah.
Can't believe they have a mummy in there. No, this game looks really fun, actually. And just a little heads up, if you actually want a review of this game, stay tuned to the site. It may be coming soon. See, I'm really good at these teaser things, aren't I?
Yeah, you're really good at them. And then let's head into International Tabletop Day 2017.
Yes, April 29th is International Tabletop Day, if you did not know. So you can head to your friendly local game store and get a lot of cool free stuff.
Yay.
Well, then again, I don't know. The promos this year are kind of Some of the promos this year are a 2017 Castle Panic Tower. That's pretty cool. A Far East Territory pre-released edition and Fairy Queen preview card. I've never even heard of the game Far East Territory, but I guess if players are out there, you're excited, you can get a promo card for that. There is some class tokens, which are kind of cool. That is just little tokens you can use in any game you would like, just to show your love for whatever class you like. There is a ranger one, there's a bard one, there's a cleric one, wizard one, yada yada yada. You can just show your love of a specific class. That's kind of cool. There is a Clank 10 card promo pack as well. And that's for players of the Clank deck building game.
All right, that's for Fuse and for Clank. Okay, those are two which I actually have.
Yeah, I didn't know you had Clank, so well, there you go. Do you even have a local game store that's like close to you? Because I think we've talked about this before, and didn't you say like the closest gaming store to you is like way far away? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think you're thinking of someone else. I do have one that's reasonably close. If I had gotten sort of used to going to Amazon.
Yeah. And that's kind of the point of International Tabletop Day. Well, it's kind of like twofold. Like the first point of it is just to get people to play tabletop games that day. So, which is cool. And then the other point is to try to get people into your friendly local game store. Because, I love Amazon just as much as the next person. But without your friendly local game store, our hobby is going to die quickly, I think. So we need to make sure that we still support our FLGS as much as we can and still order games cheap off of Amazon. It's like a two-edged sword, because Amazon is awesome because they have cheap prices, but yet our friendly local game store is awesome too. So we need to find that balance.
Right, then let's head into our week in gaming. And Drac, what have you done?
Not a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, I barely turned the computer on in the past, I don't know how many months. So yeah, I did do a little bit of gaming, and that was last Wednesday night. You and I actually played DDO again, because we always play on Wednesday nights together. And this week was the first week in probably a month and a half, almost 2 months. So we ran Tower of Frost, and that was the first time that I actually ran that. You had ran it previously, which you'll talk about, I think.
That was a bit of turnabout, considering that normally you're the one who knows the dungeon well, and I'm the one who's saying,
yeah. I did actually find that very interesting. I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of weird, because I'm like having to ask Pineleaf. It's like, do we go here? Do we go there? Do I put this here? And it's usually me doing that. So yeah, it was a little weird. My world was a little askew on Wednesday, but I enjoyed the dungeon a lot. I enjoyed the quest, the writing, the story. fun little dungeon. I liked it a lot. And then we had a little bit of time off in our gameplay, so we decided to go into the 12 because we are of that level. And we ran Delirium. So we had a drinking contest with Beholders.
Whee!
And spoilers. We won. We drank Beholders under the table. But we
especially after we figured out that we can get help from our NPCs.
Exactly. I had no idea that you could actually have the hirelings drink too. That makes that part of that quest so much easier.
Yeah.
Have like 4 people or 5 people taking drinks. Because I always thought only one person could like do that. And then I just kind of like, when you were doing it, I tried to click on one and I'm like, wow, I can drink this. And then you're like, well, my hirelings just drank one. And I'm like, oh, really? Really now? So yeah. So I'm sure everybody is like screaming at whatever they're listening to now, like, well, duh, yeah, everybody knew that, or everybody knew the whole party could do that. Well, I only thought it was only one person could take the drink at a time. So yeah, made that part so much easier. I like that quest though. That is a really fun quest. I mean, come on, how cool is it to drink with Beholders? I mean, seriously. And unfortunately, yeah, that was it. That was like my whole gaming for anything at all. So not a lot. So I have a sneaking suspicion at this point Pineleaf is going to take the show over and just talk forever because I have a feeling you've done a heck of a lot more than I have. So Pineleaf,
have done a couple of things.
What have you done?
Let's then begin with what I did with my monk that let's go into my warlock, because in addition to running what I ran with you, I did run the Tower of Frost on this character before because I didn't have another character where I really felt like running the quest series on. So I ran it in order to record a video. All right, that's fine. I go in, I record the video, and then I realized as I'm finishing up that I had not, since I had switched over to OBS, I had not recorded DDO, and I got the settings all wrong, and it looked really awful. So I went in, ran it again. Really good thing it was a dungeon that I enjoyed doing instead of when that.
Yeah.
So I ran it again. This time, of course, not quite as new for me. So it wasn't a fresh one because I was hoping to do a blind run through. So obviously it wasn't a blind run through there. And I got it all nice recorded. I even rendered it. I even posted the first episode of it. And then I said, oh, my sound's 2 seconds off.
No.
And the only reason why I realized it because someone actually wasn't the most polite post ever. I would say to a YouTube video.
Shocking.
Something to the effect of, "This is really horrible," and gave it a thumbs down. And well, yeah, I think it pretty much sums up what it deserved when I figured out what happened.
Learn how to YouTube, noob.
Yeah, so. I am hoping that's the reason why he posted that.
I would think so, yes.
Instead of something else about it, because I think that was good enough to deserve such a... So therefore, I recorded it a third time, this time properly.
So that's why you knew that dungeon so well.
Oh, yeah, I knew it because I'd already done it 3 times.
No, I'm like serious. I was like freaked out because I'm like, oh my God, Pineleaf is like, he's running this and he like knows where to go and he like knows what to do. And I'm like, oh my God, Pineleaf has became me because I do that in dungeons. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? It makes sense. Now I understand.
Let's then head to my monk, where my monk went to House Tarasco to run Red Willow's Ruins, Dead Predators, and the Grave Robber. Then I ran all of Delara's Tomb, and therefore got my voice as a master. And this is, I think, the first time I had done it all solo because I did run it with you once, I believe.
Yes, we did.
And there was another time where I had attempted to run it on a different character, but I could not get through the first dungeon. So I had just given up on it. So therefore, this time I went in and actually ran the entire thing and stuck through it. Then Tangleroot Gorge.
Which is an area I always forget about. I always forget to run Tangleroot Gorge on any character I do.
Then the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Of course.
Of course, with my usual appointment with death when I meet Zugamoy.
You still have not beat. Okay, we are going to have to get the damsels, and we are going to take you in there, and we are going to beat Zugamoy just so you can say you have actually survived the Temple of Elemental Evil. Because I feel bad you never actually beat her.
Yeah, she just pounds me into a pulp every single time.
So we will get the damsels, and we will do that so you can actually see the dungeon completed to the end.
Actually, I think, though, that this is the first time where I might have actually successfully temporarily touched one of those mushrooms. I did find the mushroom this time.
That's a start.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when she casts Disintegrate on you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, her Disintegrate is the suck.
Now, there was one time when I was in there where I found a Fountain of Wonder, and I decided to try out the Fountain of Wonder. The random number generator apparently didn't like me. Boom! You're dead.
Wasn't so wondrous now, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't so wondrous. All right. Yeah, I found that Temple of Elemental Part 2 was a bit tough on a melee character. In fact, I got killed very early on in there, but fortunately, I was like right next to a red shrine when they got killed, so that helped. Then I went against the Slave Lords, and the last time I tried against the Slave Lords, I could not get through the first part, but this time I managed to get through the entire thing by myself. Well, okay, I did have the hireling also, and so therefore that one, and it was nice to be able to, the satisfaction of killing that elf again. Yeah. Let's see, what else did I have in here? Oh, Sorrow Dusk Isle, where I did the Iron Mines, the Grey Moon's Den, and the Temple Outpost. So the first 3 pairs of quests on Sorrow Dusk Isle. So I did that, and I did quite a number of other things in House Beneath, where I went to storm the beaches, the Black Lock, the Bounty Hunters, the Pit, and the Pit.
I can say timeout.
What?
Did you attempt to run the pit by yourself?
Yeah, I ran it. Yeah, I ran it by myself.
God bless you, sir. God bless you. And
Yeah.
how far did you get? I hate that quest. My hatred of the pit is almost equal to my hatred of the Crucible.
Yeah. It took me 2 hours, but I did finish it.
Well played, sir. Good for you. Screw that quest. God, I hate that quest.
Yeah, I can understand because 2 hours? Now, I can understand why you had a lot of trouble because it included the most complicated tile puzzle I could ever remember seeing.
I can't say what I want to say about that because I just have to beat myself out. So, yeah. Use your imagination. Not friendly language I want to say right here about that puzzle.
Okay. I can imagine because I know what you are like on puzzles of that sort. And I also did Bargain of Blood, and I really loved the joke at the end when you meet the general manager.
Is that the first time you actually saw that joke?
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's funny. That's awesome.
And then I created a Gnome Artificer, level 1, and I ran through the early Korthos stuff, and the entire reason for that was then I hooked up with someone at Locho Players News, and I introduced her to the latter part of Korthos, because she had done the earlier parts of Korthos and was a bit confused about how things go around, so I showed her a couple of things in the areas. I taught her about rares and the like. And then we went through Misery's Peak.
And who else would you want to show you Korthos but the King of Korthos? And that would be Pineleaf.
The King of Korthos.
The man that does Korthos on every single character he makes. God bless you, sir, for that as well.
Maybe not every single one, but generally my more serious characters, yeah.
I just cannot believe you actually ran the pit.
Well, I didn't realize how nasty that place was.
You know, the every time we get to that level and I'm looking through the compendium, I'm like, we can do this. Oh, screw the pit.
Yeah,
That
I
give
guess
away
I blinked
to.
that out of my mind, I guess.
Okay, all right. I just thought I'd remind you that I think you hear that from me every time we're in that level range.
Okay.
That and then the Crucible, it's like, nope, screw that too.
Now then, on tabletop games, if you recall from the last episode, I was saying that I'm trying to try to play a tabletop game every day. And all right, I got through January fine enough. Then in February, I decided to up the challenge a little bit by playing a game going through the alphabet.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so that was a little bit of a challenge, and there were a couple of cases where things were a little, I say, iffy on what I had to do in order to. Because let's face it, there's some letters of the alphabet that are a little bit less represented than others.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like, what did you do for L? I'm trying to think of an L game.
Yeah, that's sort of the challenge I had in there. And let's see, which was the first one the first one that really gave me trouble was J.
Ooh, yeah, I can't think of a J game either.
And the only J game that I have in my collection is the Jarl. And
yeah.
that's a strictly 2-player game. And it's like, okay, well, I wound up going to one of my patience books for that one and played a game called Jubilee. And this was one that was written for Queen Victoria's Jubilee. So yeah, it's a pretty old patience game.
I guess. Good grief.
Yeah, so therefore, that's why I did on that. As I said, that was a little bit pushy. Now, what was nice is that I was using a patience deck that I bought a few years ago called Tudor Rose, and this is a double deck. And since there are so many double deck games that you mix the two decks together and play, and the Tudor Rose deck was perfect for this particular one because since it was written for Queen Victoria's Jubilee, it so happens that in the game rules, the Queen of Hearts was intended to be Queen Victoria on her throne and all that stuff. And it happens that on the Tudor Rose deck, the depiction for the Queen of Hearts is Queen Victoria. So it was just perfect. So it was like just crying to be used for that particular one.
So what did you do for Z?
Oh, let me get to K first.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. K was tricky because for K, I wound up doing King of Tokyo. There's no solitaire variant for King of Tokyo. It would just be silly. So what I did is I just decided, all right, take two monsters, have them go against each other and see how they did against each other, which seems to work reasonably well. But to answer your question about L, Legend of Dritz.
Oh, duh. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that makes sense.
And let's see, what was the...
I'm curious what you did for Z, because I know what I would have done, but you don't play zombie games, so...
Right. Actually, I was trying because I had a...
I mean, Z obviously should have been Zombicide Black Plague. I mean, easily that's what I would have played for Z. But as I said, you don't do zombie games, so what the heck
I could not bring myself... I even recently looked at a Black Plague, a video of someone playing Black Plague, and I just can't get into... I know there are a lot of people who like Black Plague and all this.
I love that game. That game is so fun.
Yeah,
it's a great screw-over game, too, with your friends, too.
Well, there is that, too. But what I wound up doing... Let me go to you first, because you, I think, was another one where I think I...
Oh, yeah, that would be
a little tricky, because... Well, T, of course, was one of the tiny Epic Defenders. One of the tiny
of course,
Epic games. So for you, I did Ultra Tiny Epic Kingdoms.
Nice.
So
I guess it counts.
Right. Even though it's the exact same rules as Tiny Epic Kingdoms, except it's on a much smaller set. So,
well, I never would have thought just like playing games in like alphabetical order would have been so hard, though. But wow, that's like really hard to come up with some of these.
Well, the next one I gave me trouble was V, of was V, because the only game I had in my collection was Virus, and I was just dreading when I get to V and having to play Virus again because of how much I hated playing it then. Fortunately, I ordered a game called Villages of Valeria, and I played that instead. So, and I think I enjoyed that a lot more than I would have enjoyed playing Virus. Let's see. For X, it so happened that my copy of Xenoshift Dreadmire from the Kickstarter came in early February, so I had that one covered. Y, I had to resort to Yahtzee.
Oh, wow. Nice. Nothing like a good old mass market game.
Yeah. And then for Z. Now, my original plan was to do Zombie Dice, but I could not find my copy of Zombie Dice anywhere. So I either misplaced it or I was misremembering having owned the game or something. So because of that, I wound up playing a game called Zilch.
I think I've ever heard of that game.
It also has two other names. I just chose the name Zilch because that was one of the three names that started with Z.
Oh, gotcha.
I think most people might know it as Farkle.
Oh, okay, yeah. I never heard it called Zilch before, but okay.
Right. I think it's also called Zilch because that's what you get if you...
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it started... What I decided to do was to give myself a 10-turn limit to get to 5,000. So since I didn't have an opponent in this, so therefore I'll say, okay, usual 5,000 limit, give myself 10 turns, can I do it? Which is reasonably doable if you have reasonable luck. During the first half of the game, I had wonderful luck in there. I was rolling in the points. It looked like, boy, I must have set this too low, too easy, and all this stuff. Then during the second half, the dice betrayed me.
As they often do.
As it often does. So I finished out with 4,250 points, which is
man.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Because I think 4 out of the last 5 turns were 0.
Wow. That sucks.
That's really, yeah. So therefore, for March, since I did the alphabet in February, for March, I decided to do a campaign for 1 deck dungeon.
Oh, cool. Nice.
And my goal is to, by the end of the month, to be able to defeat all of the bosses that are currently in the game. And there are 5 bosses: the dragon, the Yeti, the Hydra, I think there's a Minotaur, and I can't remember what the 5th one is. So you have these 5 bosses that you can go into it, and you go into a specific dungeon, and you have to face the dungeon each. And the dungeons are tougher and tougher as you go along. So first, of course, with the drag. Now, during the campaign, you could gain extra abilities to make your character slowly get a little bit more powerful, subtly more powerful. And with that, I was able to finally beat the dragon because so that was the first time I was able to do a win. But of course, I had a slight boost because I had that little bonus there. But yes, I finally beat that dragon. So now I decided, okay, let's go against the Yeti. Got killed in 3 turns.
Oh, jeez.
So I thought, maybe I should save the Yeti for later because I have to go into a more difficult dungeon now because in order to get some of the nicer rewards on the campaign, you need to go into the more difficult dungeons. So I thought, okay, let's try the Hydra instead. It looks like the Hydra is easier than the Yeti's cavern. So now I'm going against the Hydra. I did manage to level up. I did manage to get through the first dungeon. I'm not quite finished there yet, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm enjoying this little campaign here, and hopefully I'll be able to have success by the end of the month. But some of those things at the end, some of those bosses at the end are really going to be tough, and I'm not too sure if I'll be able to make it through all of them, but I am going to give it a try, and it's going to be... Oh, we got a Lich at the end.
Oh, Liches are always fun.
Oh, yeah, that is going to be...
Nothing bad ever happens when you fight a Lich.
Yeah, nothing ever bad happens there, yeah. So you can see if I manage to survive that, but I've got about 25 more days in order to see whether I succeed. We currently have 22 supporters on Patreon, and if you would like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. And did we get any email over this long month of waiting?
We did not. Well, we kind of did, but yeah, no, not really. I'll just say that.
Okay. Yes.
Long story, but no, we did not get an email.
Well, if you would like to send us a real email, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. And the Players Alliance has 4 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have, once again, DDO Players News. And moving to the first and third Fridays of each month at 11 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. On the last Friday of each month, we have Lotro Academy after school. Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is it for tonight, because believe me, I am beat tonight. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.